So today in this video, I'm going to talk about how I paid off $50,000 in debt in just 27 months. So if we go back in time, when I was 22 years old, I had $50,000 in debt. So it includes credit card debt, line of credit, and I was even in overdraft in my debit card. So all of it was basically maxed out. But today, as a 28 years old, I own a home, I run a business, and I'm on a track of financial independence by the age of 50 years old. And it took me exactly 27 months and 14 days to go from $50,000 unrewarded to zero. And in this video, I'm going to show you the exact numbers, the exact method, and the exact system I used. So you need to watch this video if you're in debt and you want financial independence. So the first thing I used was writing everything on paper. So this is embarrassing. You have to be upfront with you. But I think this is the most important or the part that you can skip it. And here's exactly where I was. So 25,000, I was writing everything down on a notebook because when you write it down, you know exactly where you are and you can start from there. So $25,000 was in credit card debts. So it was split across TD, RBC, CIBC. $3,000 was in overdraft. So just sitting there every single month. And 22,000 was in line of credit. So $50,000 approx was the total I was in debt. So I took out, like I said, I took out the pen and a paper and wrote everything down because I think that's the step one that nobody talks about. You cannot fix what you refuse to look at. Most people avoid checking their real numbers because it's scary. And I get it because the day one I actually sat down and I added it all up the day everything changed. Because from that day I wasn't not sure. It was all in my brain that yeah, I'm in debt, but I don't know the exact number, exact timeline. So now I had a number attached to it. And then after writing down all my debt, I stopped growing my debt. So before you think about paying off the debt, you have to stop it from growing. So credit card interest is the biggest leak. And if you don't know this already, credit card interest in Canada it's crazy. We are talking about 20%. Some even credit cards 29%, sometimes even higher. So while I was trying to pay down the principal, the interest was eating alive my money in the background. So here's what I did. I transferred my entire credit card balance into a TD balance transfer, offered at 0% APR. So once you're a customer of the bank for too long, they sometimes give you pre-approval. So I was pre-approved for it. So it didn't hurt my credit. And it bought me the window where every single dollar I paid went straight to the principal, not interest. But some people misuse this thing as well. So they don't pay the debt faster once they know that they have 0% APR. So you need to be careful with that. But if you don't have that pre-approval and if you have a high interest debt right now, you need to check if you qualify for 0% balance transfer. If you don't even qualify, you can walk into the bank and they can help you save thousands of dollars. Now, the second step is you need a system. And I got the system. And when it comes to paying off the debt, there are really two methods people talk about. The Snowball method, and we can see the Dave Ramsey approach. And I want to say, I respect that you pay off your smallest debt first, regardless of interest rate, and you roll that payment into the next smallest debt. The reason it works is that it is motivated. You get quick wins, and that momentum keeps you motivated. There is another method that I personally use, the avalanche method. And that's instead of going smallest to the largest, you attack the debt with the highest interest rate first, while making minimum payments on everything else. So this saves you most of the money if we talk about mathematically over time because you're killing the debt that's costing you the most. And I've been a number guy from starting. I have an accounting background, so avalanche method made more sense to me. So I wasn't as worried about the motivation side. I was worried about the math. But honestly, I think that either method works. The best method is one you can actually stick to. And if you know yourself and need those quick wins to stay motivated, do a snowball. There is no wrong answer here. The wrong answer is doing nothing. So using the avalanche method, it took me about 27 months and 14 days to pay off everything. Now there is step 3 that not too many people talk about. So everyone focus on cutting expenses. And yes, that matters. But there's a limit to on how much you can save and how much you can cut. But there is no limit on how much you can earn. So alongside the debt payoff plan, I was also working the income side. So there is right now in Canada, negotiate your rent. Rents have been lower from last 10 years, so most people never try. And landlord would rather keep a good tenant at a slightly lower rate than deal with a turnover. Sell the car that you don't need. If you have got the vehicle that's costing you the payments, insurance, gas, that's the thing that you don't need. Also pick a side hustle. You just have to move the needle. Push for the raise or find a role that pays what you're worth. So this is the one people are most scared of, and it's often one with the biggest impact. And here's the another side of it. Don't suffer through it. I'm not a fan of cutting every single joy out of your life to throw an extra 50 bucks at a debt. That kind of restriction doesn't last. It burns you out and burn only to quitting the plan entirely. So I take it as sustainable beats extreme every single time, even in investing. Now step 4, I think this is the most important part that helped me. I set up automatic payments towards my debt every payday before I even saw that money hit my account. So a chunk of it was already gone straight to the debt. Now the question is, why does this matter so much? Because willpower is unreliable. If the money sits in your account and you have to manually decide to send it to debt every single time, you're one bad day away, one impulse buy away from breaking the streak. But if it's automatic, the decision is made once and then it just runs by itself. So you're not relying on discipline every single day. You're relying on a system you built one time. And I'm a big fan of building systems. It flows automatically. So this is the difference between people who pay off debt and people who talk about paying off the debt. Now what comes after? So say you follow this, you kill the interest, you pick the method, you boost your income, you automate the payments, and eventually you hit the zero. What's next? So don't just jump straight into investing. That was actually my next move. And I think it's the right method for most people. Build an emergency fund. So 12 months of expenses sitting in something safe and liquid. Now, before you say, oh, it's so hard to manage the emergency funds, you can even do 3 to 6 months. But here's why this matters. The whole reason a lot of people go into debt is, in the first place, is one unexpected expense. A car repair, a medical bill, a job loss, and they had nothing to fall back onto. So it went straight into the credit card. An emergency fund breaks the cycle. It's your, let's say, insurance policy against ending up right back where you started. Now, only after that foundation is built, you start investing seriously. And that's the whole video on its own. So that's it. That's exactly how I went from 50,000 in debt to zero in 27 months and 14 days to be exact. So kill the interest first, pick a method, Snowball or Avalanche, and actually stick to it. Grow your income. Don't just shrink your expenses. Automate the boring stuff so you don't have to rely on willpower. And once you're out, build your safety net before you start investing. I know that first step, actually writing down your number, feels embarrassing. And it felt embarrassing for me too. But that page of paper was the most valuable thing I did. If this video helps you, hit the subscribe button and I'll see you in the next one.